Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Caris May, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Leading Seaman Bianca Latusti. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony from around Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid by visitors at the base of the Pool of Reflection. To commence this evening's ceremony, I invite you all stand and join in singing the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was a vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed at the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and other operations for over more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Basil Nichols. Basil Nichols was born in 1895 in Millthorpe, New South Wales, to Edward and Anne Nichols. Edward Nichols died at the age of 40 when Basil was only 3 years old. Anne Nichols remarried a little later and the family moved to Orange, where Basil attended Orange District School. On leaving school, he went to work as a labourer. When the First World War began, Nichols's good friend, Harold Corkett, was amongst the first in the area to enlist. Nichols was keen to go, but had not turned 21 at the time. Corkett was killed on Gallipoli in early May, becoming the first man from Orange to die on Gallipoli. The death of his friend only made Nichols more determined to do his bit. Nichols enlisted at Lismore on the 18th of August 1915, listing his age as 21 years and 5 months. Following his initial training, he was allotted to the 6th Reinforcements to the 25th Battalion. Private Nichols embarked from Brisbane on the 21st of October aboard the transport ship Sangbi, bound for Egypt. He arrived too late to be sent to Gallipoli and was instead sent to a training battalion at Zaytun. In late February, Nichols was transferred to the 9th Battalion and was posted to Charlie Company. On the 27th of March, the battalion sailed for France, disembarking at Meysan on the 3rd of April. About a fortnight later, the 9th Battalion was in reserve billets near Rouge de Boux, 1 mile behind the front line in Armentières, or nursery sector. Intermittent artillery fire was landing nearby. Early in the afternoon of the 20th of April, tragedy struck when the billets were heavily shelled. One shell landed outside a canvas tent, wounding 4 soldiers. As men went to assist, another shell landed amongst them, killing several and wounding others. A further shell hit a brick wall of a nearby billet, causing a further 47 casualties. Charlie Company was decimated, suffering 25 men killed and a further 50 wounded. Nichols was wounded in the chest and abdomen by shrapnel and was evacuated to the 7th Casualty Clearing Station. However, his wound proved mortal and he died on the 22nd of April. He was laid to rest in the Merville Communal Cemetery that day. He was 21 years old. Just as his friend Harold Corkett was the first man from Orange to die on Gallipoli, Nichols became the first man from Orange to die on the Western Front. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among more than 60,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Basil Nichols, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man, lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this evening's last post ceremony. We would like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today, and we wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.